we're now live. This one doesn't give us 3 seconds to figure it out.
We don't need 3 seconds.
We don't need 3 seconds. I mean, I don't even need 3 seconds.
The title doesn't need 3. If the champion can't get 3 seconds. There we go.
All right.
I got my blanket on. All right, it's cold in Florida. Hi, everybody. Welcome to...
Let me wait.
Oh, wait.
I gotta start recording.
You got an intro here? Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the pre-show. I am the... Oh, wait. Sorry. And
All right.
when are we doing this, Jesse?
Right.
When are we doing... What are we doing? What is this?
Give this a shot.
Okay.
Let me try.
Okay.
Yo, Mayor, what's up?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another fantastic episode of Wrestle, Crush, Whatever. I am
Pre-show, because I still got to hit record on the computer. And I got to hit record on the computer. Production value.
I am the Sussman, Rick Sussman, and we are Team Hammerfist. This is Jesse Long, the real American dad, and I, of course, am the Sussman. This week's episode not brought to you by Crystal Pepsi. Crystal Pepsi not sponsoring Team Hammerfist since early 1896. Jesse,
Back
we
when
have...
they had, so it was cocaine was in Coca-Cola.
Right.
This is crystal meth.
Well, crystal meth was only existed in the last, 45 years, so... This is...
Was it just dried Crystal Pepsi?
So welcome to another episode of the Wrestle Crush.
I forgot how not great this tastes.
Yeah, it was really bad. We are going to be discussing many things this week. We have a couple of props that I want to introduce some new friends to. This is the Team Hammerfist Championship belt. It's a real belt, and it actually was defended in real matches, included in FIP.
Yeah. It wasn't just made in it wasn't made in somebody's backyard with two dudes spray painting toys with
Those
gold.
were other belts.
Those were the
other NXT.
Yeah, this one was actually made by Dave Milliken.
We also have the no fucks given cat pillow. And this cat will be making many appearances when we're discussing our rundown and things that happen on NXT.
I'm gonna have to scan this and make a shirt of it.
Oh, it's a real thing. We got socks and everything.
We're gonna have to put that on the store.
No fuck. That's you're gonna have to get permission for that.
I don't care.
So why don't we get down to business? Let me pull up ye old rundown on the fascinating iPhone 7. Oh wait, 6. I'm sorry, I don't have a 7. I'm not rich. Let's begin with the beginning.
And it never will be in this administration.
Nice. So we have a lot of wrestling to talk about because the WWE was kind enough to provide us with a metric shit ton of wrestling this week. Ergo,
they just never stop making wrestling at this point.
We won't be discussing Wrestle Kingdom for reasons because God knows that was about 2 weeks ago. Come on over a little bit, Jesse.
2 weeks ago, and it was about 900 hours long.
It was about 6.5, I think.
It was 5.5. I think it was the total. But and then the back hour that was, and to bookend, Omega and Okada was great. And,
sure, but when your
main
event,
it's been weeks.
When your main event is an hour long. Anyway. Let's discuss the UK Championship. The UK tournament.
That was 7 stars in the UK tournament.
7 stars. Did you not like my burp?
It was a great burp.
Thank you. So
it was a great burp. It was a wonderful burp. Best burp ever.
You know, you do sort of look like one of his sons right now with your hair slicked back. Let's discuss the UK tournament. For those at home who didn't have the opportunity to watch it, this was a 2-night tournament, which could have been 3 nights and probably ought to have been, but that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that in a bit. But the production value, the slickness, the commentary, the look, everything about this was fantastic, except for the color of the UK strap. And I quote, I feel each strap needs to have its own individual panache. Yeah. Now, the belt itself, the plates are amazing. Just hands down fantastic. Yeah. But I really thought the belt, the coloring of the leather...
the strap, the physical strap.
It should have been yellow or gold.
It might have been a little too on the nose. They could have gone with a navy blue.
Navy blue, sure.
That way, because UK blue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a really classy looking belt. It's the best belt they have. It's the best looking belt.
It is a beautiful, beautiful belt. And the winner of the tournament, if you're not aware, was Tyler Bate, who is about 5'2", and
he's about 7 years old.
He looks to be about 7 years old, and he looks as though a child wearing this gigantic title belt. Now, on a fatter human being like myself and Jesse Long, this belt probably looks normal.
It looks a little small on me.
Well, there you go. But on
Can't really
Tyler,
close it
it takes up 2/3 of his torso.
Yeah, I even showed Nikki. It's like it looks like a child, but like, well, it didn't help that like in the shot that I showed her, like you know how like most people wear the belt like it's up here. It was like way down here, so it literally looked like you literally look like an infant carrying this belt.
So what made the UK tournament so special to you, Jesse Long? Why was it so good?
It felt you watch it, and I mean, obviously, it's all wrestling. Still, it was all still fake wrestling.
Sure,
but it actually felt. It made the story. It created its own stories, and I was able to not know anything about majority of these people.
Right.
Like there was some name value. I had heard of Trent Seven. I'd heard of Pete Dunne through just like What Culture and guys and stuff like that, and and I knew specifically of Joseph Connors because he's a former What Culture Pro champion, but I didn't know who really any of these guys were. Martin Stone, Danny Burch, like he was the most well-known person in the tournament, but that didn't matter. You were able to create these stories in like the span of 30 minutes for like these guys, and between all that, it actually like it felt like everything mattered. And
okay, I'll give you.
Great.
I'll give you that it had a sense of urgency about it. I'll give you that it felt like it mattered. I'll give you all those things.
Yeah.
Although I do take a little bit of umbrage with the fact that there was exactly one heel in the entire
Dolores
tournament.
Umbridge?
Huh?
Dolores Umbridge.
There was exactly one heel in the entire tournament, and lo and behold, he's the guy who goes to the finals.
Yeah, there was only one like real heel.
But so
like Jordan Devlin sort of became heel. There were guys who like went in as like the half and half. Everybody went in like 50-50 aside from Pete Dunne, and then like Jordan Devlin became a heel. But yeah, Pete Dunne was very clearly a heel.
Well, you would pose the question to me in our rundown.
Mm-hmm.
Why was the UK tournament so much better than the CWC?
Well, because it actually had story and meaning, and it was. And I venture to say that the wrestling was well. I wouldn't say it was better because it was a different style because the CWC was all about flippy doos. And
which is amazing.
The majority of it was
apparently the cruiserweights don't flippy do anymore, which is so weird. I think what the CWC was missing was there was no clear heel. Like the CWC was this guy's going to fight this guy, and it felt real, like there were two dudes fighting, and that's kind of cool. But this is still pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what do you watch pro wrestling for? You could say for flippy do. You could say because you want to see the Undertaker send people directly to actual hell, literal actual hell. Or you could say the obvious. You watch pro wrestling because you love the storytelling. Yeah. And storytelling between two faces or two tweeners or two heels is never really that interesting.
No, because then it's just like, it's just,
all right,
we're gonna and then we're gonna slap each other.
Choppity.
Because we're friends, we're going to legitimately slap each other in the throat as hard as we possibly can.
So I think that's what happened is pro wrestling needs to be pro wrestling. Yes, it can be real. Yes, it can feel real. And in the case of the CWC tournament, it was certainly fun to watch. We have many predictions for Royal Rumbles in minutes. First we must expound upon the unnecessariness of talking.
That's all we can do now, Rick, is talk. That's all we're allowed to do. Well, for now.
So let's move forward. What was your? We're going to do.
Well, I would say I think
takeaways.
while you were talking, I realized I think what gave the UK tournament that extra little thing was that the CWC had was because the CWC, somebody won, yay, you win the tournament, but there was no light at the end. There was no pot of gold, figuratively, at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
It wasn't until right before the finals that Triple H brought out the belt. This was to crown a champion.
Right.
The point of this tournament was to crown a champion. If they didn't outright say that we were going to crown a UK champion, it was just, we're going to take the best UK guys and have them go, and then that person will win, and they're going to win something. No one would have cared.
Right.
Who wins this is going to be the first ever UK champion. And I think that gave
sense of
promise.
urgency.
It gave purpose to the whole tournament, and I think that helped a lot.
All right. Well, since this was a little bit ago, we're going to wrap up this whole
Yeah,
segment.
it was a few weeks ago.
Let's do 2 takeaways. You do one, I'll do the other, then we'll move on to NXT TakeOver Dallas, the return of Brooklyn.
Yeah. Man, those mustaches were great. That's my takeaway.
Mustache Mountain.
Mustache man.
My big takeaway was I really enjoyed
Those are the
this
two
show.
takeaways, Tyler Bates' mustache and Trent Seven's mustache.
I really enjoyed this show, but I need to know why we did this title. I want to see where this title's going. I want to see it defended. I want to see a weekly show if that was the point. Or I want to see Shawn Michaels show up, take the title off Tyler Bate, and add that to his collection, a la British Bulldog European title style. Let's move on.
I do hope that a UK show, if a UK show, does come out of this, and there was an hour-long version of this every week, and it was, they taped it the same way they tape NXT, and they tape, a month's worth of shit at one night.
In the ballroom. There,
yeah, and if it was literally an hour-long version of this every week, I would watch it. It would be appointment television for me. I would watch it hands down every week.
So last night was NXT TakeOver Who Gives a Damn, and it was brought
TakeOver Texas 2 back to Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was brought to you by the great people of Texas in the fabulous stadium of the Alamo. Or somewhere in the neighborhood.
Phillips said it every 5 seconds. It was the Freeman Coliseum.
Let's begin with the good.
So historic. I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah. Let's begin with the good. We had a lot of good wrestling. Like,
it was
legit,
great.
honest, good wrestling. We had actual matches. We had clear winners and losers. And
almost every single solitary match had a reason for being.
Correct.
And
Roddy and Cien, I thought, was a bit odd.
It was weird. Then I would say, like, if that was the weakest match on the card, and saying that was the weakest match on the card says a lot about the show, because it was great. Honestly, like, they were beating the shit out of each other, and it was a great match between two really good performers. It just had, like, no purpose. And Roddy has never been one for charisma, and Cien isn't really, like, he's gelling so poorly with the fans, they turned him heel.
Yeah.
Which is helping. Which always sort of works, is, a face sucks as a face, so let's make him heel and give him character so he can carry that character over back to being a face. And
we'll see how
I
that
enjoyed
goes. I think the show
I enjoyed Cien had the old Hammerfist logo on his knees. He grabbed the same clip art that I did 10 years ago.
If you're unaware, Team Hammerfist are marks for ourselves and ourselves alone. We here at Team Hammerfist do not care about other wrestlers as long as they mention our names.
See also his championship belt.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, are you?
I'm gonna hold.
Do you feel better now?
It's gonna hold in my
You're
gut.
your child. Okay.
This is my baby. This is my baby.
This starts.
Despite my actual children.
This starts with our negatives.
Yeah.
And this is where the no fucks given pillow comes in. Because apparently, Asuka cannot lose. Asuka cannot lose, and I am over her.
Yeah.
I love her. I've met her in person. I've spoken with her, though the limited vocabulary, though she may have in the English at the time. She is a wonderful human being and a fantastic athlete and a wonderful champion. And oh my God, get the belt off of her for Christ's sake.
I was ready for, like, Nikki Cross to win, or for, Peyton and Billy to do the whole,
Twin magic
lay cool
whatever
thing. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I popped when she had that big flurry at the end and won. And there was a great I don't know if you missed it or not. There was a great spot where the Pretty Mean Aussies. I don't know. They don't have a team name. I'm gonna call them the Pretty Mean Aussies. And
I like that
they put Nikki Cross through a table. Now that took her out for the whole match.
I like that. I like that the Pretty Mean Aussies are Poison Ivy and the Evil Queen from Snow White.
Yeah, they're still. What was it? You called them Tangerine? And,
My Tangerine Dream. Yeah,
Tangerine and Mango or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So the women's match I thought was very, very good.
It was very good. It was different from the past. Like, I enjoyed the diversion from the just those humongous wars that, like, they've been having for the women's style. This was sort of like a bunch of it was a very TV segment kind of brawl.
Okay, but the reason why I'm disappointed with it though is NXT has no problem ripping belts off people. No. Like, hey, I'm the champion now. Well, screw it, you're the champion again.
Yeah.
So. And Asuka is super protected, and I love that.
She's still undefeated.
What are we doing with her?
I don't know.
Should honestly, she not be challenging for the women's belt on the now completely depleted SmackDown
at this point,
title?
At this point, if I could armchair book right now, I would have Asuka go after Charlotte at WrestleMania. Still the NXT Women's Champion. Maybe title for title. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, title. I would have her begin. She would just. I think when she gets called up, she either needs to lose the belt like now, soon, at this point, the next takeover at Mania, or she needs to debut on one of the main shows
as champion.
I think she should go to Raw because the SmackDown Women's division is getting a little. It's actually pretty strong right now. The Raw Women's division sucks, and we have four chicks that actually are real in the division. You know.
All right, I'll give you that.
Dana Brooke don't count.
I'll give you that. Although Dana Brooke has my respect, but that's a different story.
We covered that story last time.
The Arthurs of Pain.
Yes. Toka and Razor.
Which is good because it's one of
his Razor. Yeah.
But it's Occam's Razor. Toka. Yeah. They are.
I should have said it Razor and Toka. That way it starts the joke normal, and then he catches it.
Nice. Anyway, the Arthurs of Pain, Fist. They defeated DIY. And once again,
shield.
And this is why I'm wearing my classic Vaudevillain shirt here.
Yeah.
Because the Vaudevillains, when they won the tag titles in NXT, they had a short reign, and we were all very disappointed.
Yeah.
It was roughly 3 months, if I'm not mistaken.
And it lost on TV.
And we were all very.
Did they defend it on a takeover? Did they actually make it to a takeover and defend it?
It doesn't matter. But we were all very stunned. And Sami Zayn won the NXT title, and he won it for all of them.
He kept it to a takeover.
For all of a month.
Yeah.
And then DIY, they win it, and everyone loses their minds because they took it off the Revival, and then they beat the Revival again, and then the Arthurs of Pain showed up, and they were like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, we're going to need those.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed last night when I watched it, I made a point. I was like, all right, it's late. I'm not staying up till 3 in the morning to watch this whole damn thing.
Right.
I skipped over the majority of the tag title match, but I watched the very beginning and the very end. And I actually this morning I came back and I watched it, and the match itself was very good.
Oh, absolutely.
Gargano and Ciampa pulled a great match out of these two dudes who really are still very green. Or maybe they're not green. Maybe it's just the style that they wrestle. It just comes off as green.
They wrestle this big monster style, which you don't see anymore.
Yeah, which is a nice refresh because everything is just shoot, boo yay, boo yay, boo yay. It's the indie style that the WWE.
Yeah, and to that end, I give them
guys
credit
that would have got booed out of the building in Ring of Honor
for being who and what they are. They're two big dudes.
Yeah,
they aren't Bobby Roode. They aren't Shinsuke Nakamura. They aren't all the other guys.
They wrestle that sort of. They're kind of the in between the monster and hostile.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but that said, why did we need to? So I understand why they won the belts because we built them up like
yeah, they've been built up like monsters. They came in at the end
and they wrecked shop.
Yeah,
and that was great.
And then they won the Dusty Classic.
So what do you do now? Does Tommaso and Ciampa move up? Because
I think
here's the problem. Before you go off, here's the problem. Anytime two guys who win the NXT tag titles get called up to the main roster, they're buried completely. So
yeah, I don't want them getting called up unless they're going like straight to the cruiserweight division.
They just split them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Everybody's been waiting for the inevitable moment when like everyone armchair books Tommaso turning on Johnny. And, they have this big blood feud because they had a great match last year at the CWC. It was one of the best matches of the CWC. But at this point, I don't think they're gonna break up until they get on the main roster.
Well, there was a question posed just now by our audience: DIY versus American Alpha, which I think
it's great, but it's another face versus face match. And it'll be great as like a debut match on SmackDown. But
I think that's wonderful. But I also think that American Alpha, I'm sorry to say, has been poorly used.
Yeah, they've been poorly. I don't know what they're just sort of sitting on their hands right now with them.
It was really like. As much as we all loved Slater and Rhino as tag champions,
we did.
It ruined tag team wrestling for SmackDown because that spot should have been American Alpha.
Yeah.
They were white hot. They were the only tag team champions.
And now they're the third SmackDown tag team, and they're not on the card. If they're not in the Royal Rumble, which they probably won't be because there's only like 7 or 8 actual spots left. I think based on what happened in the main event, I would love to see Gargano and Ciampa probably, just sort of like. We're going to amicably part ways, brother. And then they both sort of go up to, like, the NXT title picture. Putting those guys in the NXT title picture helps my interest. I would like to see them in that.
Well, that's an excellent segue. We might as well discuss the NXT championship match where 16-time World Heavyweight Champion of NXT, Shinsuke Nakamura, freshly after winning and losing the title back from Joe 2 days ago on, I don't know, a house show.
Did you notice Joe wasn't on the card at all?
Joe, well, we'll get to that. He's up against a Bobby Roode, who the title... Bobbert.
Accompanied by the Ho Train.
Well, they've been building this title match very nicely on NXT.
I actually enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the build.
It's
two
been
very flamboyant dudes.
Yes. Two tweeners, never really defined.
Yeah, obviously leaning more in their own little directions, but definitely Bobby is obviously extremely over for obvious reasons. But I enjoyed the build. The interactions between the two of them are.
I'm trying to tell you that this match was no fucks given. And here's why. Bobbert basically owned Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, for the majority of it. Yeah.
And I liked it.
It was the Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe.
Well, I liked it. I liked it because Bobby, the whole match was I scouted him.
Yeah.
And I'm better than you because I'm a thinking man. And Shinsuke was like, I'm gonna hit you in the face with my knee, bro. And Bobby was like,
I'm gonna keep on hitting you with my knee. Why does my knee hurt? I hit it into a wall 20 times. Why does my knee hurt?
So Shin's whole thing is, I'm going to hit you with my knee, and it's going to break your head.
Yeah.
And Bobby was like, yeah, okay, but I'm going to wrestle you. And I felt the entire match was, will Shinsuke break his knee over Bobby's head? And if that happens, does Bobby have an answer for it?
Yeah, I didn't... They felt like they booked it. It was presented in a way like Bobby outclassed Shinsuke.
Right.
And
you know what was really disappointing for me, and this is going to be kind of mean, but it's how I felt watching it. I'm looking at Bobby Roode, I'm looking at Shin, and I'm like, man, Bobby is cut from stone. He looks like that classic.
Shin's a little flat.
He looks like kind of Rick Rude almost.
Yeah.
Which is where
he's got that
comes
sort of.
from.
He kind of looks like Triple H and Rick Rude had a baby.
Yeah, and you're like, man, I kind of feel like he should be a champion.
Yeah.
And then I look over at Shin, and Shin's doing the crazy hands, and he's got the weird long mohawk that nobody likes. And jealousy.
You're just jealous.
Jealousy. And then
I'm gonna come next time I come do the show. You're gonna have extensions out of your beard, and you're just gonna be doing the. You're gonna be like.
Every time I flip my hair over, you don't know which side is actually the shaved side.
I notice he always turns it to the camera.
So I was happy that Bobby Roode won, and then the ending of the match, which by the way, the match itself was fabulous.
It was great.
It was a great build, but the entire match again was I'm going to hit you with my knee.
Yeah,
and then Bobby goes after the knee after Shin accidentally injures it.
Yeah,
and
I liked it. Didn't I say they had him? He was outclassed, but they threw in a very important thing that I feel like doesn't bury Shinsuke so much. He hit him with the Kinshasa, and they made a point. If he was able to have covered him, he would have won. But the point is, he hit him, and that hurt him, so he couldn't make the cover. But Bobby was out for a while.
Right. Shin says to himself, "Man, my knee really hurts really bad, but I need to knock this guy out as best I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and ruin my career and hit this guy in the face with my broken knee."
So it gave Bobby a chance to recover enough to win. So I feel like, damn it, no fucks given, cat.
This brings us to our overall feelings about NXT TakeOver back to Brooklyn and Texas, San Antonio. And
Boston.
What's that?
Boston.
Did they do 2 chains.
Yeah.
I will start and you can end.
Okay.
And you do not talk over me.
I won't.
All right? This is the point. So, I really liked Shinsuke Nakamura and Bobby Roode 3. I thought this was a great pay-per-view or network special, whatever. I'm kind of over the belts changing hands every 5 seconds, and I'd like to see a linear champion of some variety actually win the belt and keep the belt for X number of time. Now, I think this is going to lead into our next segment, why all these guys are losing, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Overall, I highly recommend NXT TakeOver Santiago, whatever that was. That was great. San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose?
San
All right.
Andreas.
San Andreas? San Andreas fault.
There
Jesse Long.
I enjoyed it a lot. I haven't really been following NXT that much just because I don't have time. I'll watch 205 Live when I can.
Is that NXT?
Yeah, basically.
All right.
There's a lot of crossover.
Nikki crossover.
Nikki crossover.
Sorry, I'm talking.
Yeah. It made me. I enjoyed the show to the point where I actually want to watch NXT more. I don't know. Maybe it's just based on what happened and in the show. I'm interested in watching NXT more so now. Like I'm gonna watch it this week, and I want to. I'm more interested in watching it for it, and I guess if anything, that was the intent.
Okay. Well, now it is time for us to do what it is that everyone wants us to talk about today, which is reasonable because...
We have to talk about how great Trump is because...
That's at the end of the show.
Okay.
So we are a few hours away from the Royals of Rumble.
I mean, it's only 8:53. We've got maybe 45 minutes before the Rumble. That's AM, by the way. About Eastern. We've got about we got about 45 minutes until the pre-show, the pre-show on USA starts.
Which is funny because this is exactly how the Super Bowl is. The pre-show for the Super Bowl has begun today with the Pro Bowl for those in America who care. Let's discuss.
Was there some sort of Pro Bowl thing going on? When is the Pro Bowl?
Today.
Is it today?
I literally just said that 10 seconds ago.
Okay, because I work in downtown and Orlando.
We're in Orlando for those who don't know.
Downtown Orlando, and there was they projected the Pro Bowl logo on 55 West, and
it's
it was 9 o'clock when I was leaving work, but there was a lot of setup on Church Street.
You realize that it's at the Citrus Bowl, right?
Yeah, I know that. Oh, I don't follow football.
How do you miss these things? This has been built up for...
I have been...
All right. I don't care. Oh, my God. What the hell was that? Okay, the Royal Rumble. Let's talk about the... Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble. I swear to God. You make...
Do you need a minute to mansplain football to me?
No. Do I need a minute to mansplain marketing to you? In general?
You might, seeing as how we've been doing this for 10 years and we got 3 followers on the show.
It's 8 now.
Hey!
So, when a city is host to a major...
I know that. I didn't even know I didn't know when it was. Because I don't care when the Pro Bowl... All right. Let's... What is it? Finn is set... Okay, good. Let's talk about Finn Balor. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Thank you, person. I didn't catch your name. I apologize. So let's talk about Finny Balor and... Can I come out now? Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So, live streaming for a while.
Okay.
Cool. We appreciate it. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble and Finn Balor and all things in the middle.
The Royal Ramble.
I actually believe, and this is my ridiculous prediction, but I think it could be. Now, hear me out. What if...
Oh, by the way, forget all the other matches on the card. Aside from
Oh, there's other matches?
No, there's other matches. Okay, so on the match... Okay, I'm going to give you this rundown because
I genuinely didn't know.
You thought it was 4 hours of Royal Rumble?
I didn't
It's a 4-hour show. It is a 1-hour Rumble. This isn't UFC on Fox where they do 9 hours of talk.
I really didn't give a shit at all.
No, I have to tell you. Okay, so on the pre-show, we've got...
There's a pre-show?
Yeah, it's a 2-hour pre-show.
Oh, my God.
Starts at 5.
There's 6 hours of this shit?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a big
Wrestle
four.
Kingdom.
That's how they do big fours now. Okay, so on the pre-show, we've got... I don't remember what's on the pre-show. We've got... between 6 hours. I'm not going to break down...
You've been explaining the pre-show for 28 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I got to... Okay. Pulling as Sami Zayn and talking like crazy with my hands. We've got Sasha versus Nia. We've got the tag title match between Cesaro and the Club with 2 referees. We've got a 6-woman women's tag from SmackDown. I'm going to keep on going. We've got the Cruiserweight title match between Swan and Neville, which should be really good. We've got the women's title between Bayley and Charlotte. And then we got we've got AJ versus Cena for the title. And then we have the most overbooked Universal title match. We've got Reigns and Owens with Jericho in a shark cage.
Shark cage. Ooh ha ha.
Yeah. It's Jericho in a shark cage, but it's also no DQ. And then we've got the Rumble. Okay. I don't really care who wins any of those matches.
All right. Well, that's great. I predict Finn Balor #1 entrant.
You think he's going to be the #1?
I think he's going to be #1. I want him to go the distance.
I agree. I think that would be a great way to just,
One,
completely kick off the match.
reason, it's about time for him to come back. We saw him
He's fine. He's fine. They're doing the whole, they're like, well, he'll be ready to come back sometime.
Well, that,
soon.
and you can only give the guys their big entrances if they're 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, AJ had a big number at number 3. He had a big moment at number, but that was also because Roman was in the ring by himself.
Right.
And the camera was on Roman.
Well, the camera always should be on Roman. And if the camera isn't on Roman, people should be saying, "Where's Roman?" I absolutely predict Finn will be number 1. I want him to go the distance, and I want him to throw out every living human being on the face of the earth.
No.
Here's the problem.
Or maybe number 2. I think I'd like number 2 because then you get somebody, maybe Roman, somebody, and then they react.
But the problem though is that we have so many people in this Royal Rumble who have 0 chance of winning, and I mean specifically The Undertaker, Bill Goldberg, Brock Lesnar. These are guys who do not win the Rumble.
No, I certainly hope they don't.
The last time we had guys like this who won the Royal Rumble, it was Dave Bautista, who Dave Bautista did not deserve what happened to him. He is an awesome dude. And he was
fantastic.
put in the worst possible position known to man, and everyone was just sort of like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you take a guy who, for all intents on any other year, would have had like a wonderful return, but you put him up against the internet hype machine, hype train for Daniel Bryan, and you can't compete against that, Like, Jesus himself could have come back, and I would be like, no, we need Daniel Bryan.
Well, Jesus, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I was about to say, they kind of look the same, maybe.
What do you think about, the showcase of the part-timers?
Yeah.
Do you think The Rock's going to make an appearance?
No.
What celebrity will show up randomly? Does it matter?
No.
Of course it doesn't.
Yeah, I think... I don't necessarily enjoy the fact that all the emphasis has been put on, Goldberg, Brock, and Undertaker, because they aren't. I mean, the Royal Rumble should build somebody new, and
you would think.
I would think, but I will be very disappointed if any of those 3 guys actually win. I will say this has been the first Rumble in a long time where there's maybe about 7 people who actually could win. In the past, it's always been sort of like.
I think you can make an obvious case.
He's a logic. I see why I see it.
No, you can make a logical case for The Undertaker for sure because
for Goldberg and for Brock. And
I don't think Goldberg has a reason to win the Royal Rumble.
No,
I think he has a reason to get screwed out of winning the Royal Rumble.
No,
but
Brock and Goldberg need to eliminate each other.
Right. All of this is kind of pointless because, and then Big Show's in there too, but he's already scheduled to fight.
Yeah, obviously,
Big Shacky Diesel.
Yeah, Shaq's gonna challenge. Shaq's gonna win the Universal title and. Yeah, he's going to be in the Elimination Chamber, and he's going to win the title, and Show's going to challenge for the title.
And here's a great question. Is there a woman in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, that was one of the things. Some people are speculating that maybe there'll be a woman. I feel like
in every other major company, they're letting women and men fight it out as they
Lucha
would.
Underground, it's not even a thing.
I think WCPW is the same way.
Well, no, they had like a mixed tag.
Oh, okay.
They had a mixed tag.
Well, there's a couple other companies where major women.
Well, and in Mexico, it's a thing too.
Yeah, well, of course, but when Sexy Star wins your big title in Lucha Underground, that means that
exactly
the wheels are off. Like
in Lucha Underground, there are no gender divisions, and I like that. It's great.
No, it's very cool. And in a world,
Ivelisse was one of the first. I don't know if she was the first, but she was a trios champion with the other.
Well, in a world where gender, is non-specific because it's wrestling. And hey, yes, I understand that maybe we should have a women's champion and a men's champion. But here's the problem. What is the Raw Women's title called?
The Raw Women's title.
What is the Raw Men's title called?
The Universal title.
The Universal title.
Yeah.
Why is it called the Universal title? Why is it not called the Raw Men's World Championship?
If it's Universal, a woman should be able to compete.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's go to SmackDown. What is the SmackDown Women's title called?
The SmackDown Women's title.
What is the SmackDown Championship called?
The WWE Championship.
So a woman cannot be the WWE Champion.
There you go.
There you go.
I think if we're talking about somebody super tiny holding a giant belt, I'd love to see Alexa hold the WWE Championship. It would literally just be like you just see just like her head peek out and her feet. And
By the way, big ups to Alexa Bliss, the first friend of the mayor to win big time gold.
I didn't know she was a
Oh yeah.
Did she used to go to the store?
No, she would just hang. I hung out with her. A buddy of mine, my buddy EJ, is a really good friend of hers.
Really?
Yeah, and I met her at one of the pre-tapings for NXT.
Oh.
And I got to hang out with her for a little bit. She's very, very sweet. This big though. She's only this big.
You can tell.
You can actually carry her in your pocket.
She's fantastic. I will say, Alexa Bliss is fantastic, and she has come a long way from being, just like a little Tinkerbell character.
Yes.
And she's fantastic as a heel, and she's really good, honestly. Anyway,
So we agree.
she's not in the Royal Rumble though.
We agree that Finn will show up.
Sasha might be.
That'd be interesting.
I'd like to see Sasha.
Do you think we will see Curtis the Burtis Angle when his
I don't know.
non-working hands?
I made a list of the people that we
that's
might
what
want to.
we're gonna run that down.
We're going to jump into that. I don't think Kurt Angle is going to be in it. I don't think he should be in it. I don't necessarily want him to have a match at WrestleMania. I don't want to see Kurt Angle wrestling. I'm done with it. I don't want to see him wrestle anymore. The same reason I don't want to see Daniel Bryan wrestle anymore.
Yeah,
I love Daniel Bryan. He is my favorite wrestler. Look at me. Look at me. It's pretty obvious that
you love Chris Hero.
Fuck, I look exactly like Chris Hero now. Or maybe Chris Hero looks exactly like me.
He did put on enough weight to look like you.
No, he looks exactly like me. Like, you see him running, that's what I look like when I run. And I would have broke the rope, and I would have broke the top rope too.
That's his gimmick now.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
husky hair.
As much as I would love to see Daniel Bryan wrestle, I care more about the person than I do seeing him yes kick, the Miz's head off.
So we both agree that Kurt Angle not in the Rumble.
Shouldn't wrestle.
Next up, we have on our list of people who should be in the Rumble, possibly.
Yeah.
Samoan Joseph.
If Samoa Joe does not show up tonight, they're dumb as fuck.
Well, if Samoa Joe doesn't debut in the Rumble, he should probably just go to ROH or Lucha Underground or
Japan.
Or Japan. Just go to Japan. Because they have no faith in him at this point.
No, I think if anybody is going to be debuting really early on, I think it could be Joe. Imagine if Finn came out.
Yeah.
And then Joe came out.
And then they have
San Antonio would just be like this. It would
be
get flooded in a wave of cum.
That would be quite the nerdgasm.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Samoa Joe has to debut.
I think at this point, like I said, if they don't pull the trigger on Joe tonight, then you can pretty much just make the argument they never will.
No. Yeah. It's a wasted opportunity.
Speaking of that, then, do we see Shinsuke Nakamura freshly off of his broken knee
a day ago, I would have said yes.
Whoa, racist.
Yeah. But they're playing up the...
I didn't realize the connotation there. I was going with a Dago joke, but I forgot if you're from another country, you can't come to ours anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, go ahead.
Shinsuke really shouldn't leave the country. Don't go home, buddy. I know the surfing's great. Stay in Orlando. Can he even get on a plane?
They haven't said anything bad about the Japanese, but
if he has like a friggin' coffee smudge on his work visa, he's gonna be deported.
Jesus Christ! I don't want to talk about this. Go on. My glasses still on the couch. They're gone. They're gone. I got to do the rest of the show without my glasses.
Ah, shit! You can't read our 3 comments.
Hold on. Here we go. All right. Next up. So does
I would have said yes a day ago.
Does Shish Kebab Nakamura?
Shiny McNamara.
Does Shiny McNamara make a debut tonight?
I would have said yes, but they're playing up the injury, playing up the angle. Like Triple H said in an interview last night that he blew out he had a dislocated kneecap or something like that. So I don't think he's going to show up tonight, just because they're playing up that he's injured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, purely for the comedy, 100% for the lulz, coming in the number 10 spot.
Yeah, this has been the biggest internet rumor, fanboy wish that Ty Dillinger is going to come in at number 10. I shudder to think what the reaction is going to be if somebody comes,
Listen,
Apollo Crews comes in at number 10.
Here's the thing. Let's assume for the sake of argument that Ty Dillinger does come in at 10.
Okay.
The pop would be glorious.
Yeah.
See what I did?
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
Anyway, the pop would be amazing. People would lose their shit. And then there's one problem. What do you do with Ty Dillinger after that?
I think you put him on SmackDown. I put him on SmackDown. I think he'd have a good...
I love Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, I think he needs to move up. If he doesn't move up, he's been in damn developmental for 10 years now. He was in OVW. He might have been in Deep South.
He got super kicked by Shawn Michaels.
He was Stan. He's been in OVW. He's been in FCW. He's been in NXT. He's had like 900 names. He needs to come up. He either needs to come up or
come out.
I don't see him going after Bobby Roode and the NXT title.
But I disagree.
You think
I disagree.
You think that's the next logical thing?
I think that's the next logical thing because Robert Roode did leave him to die to the sanity.
I think we can have it both ways.
He makes his debut, but he doesn't
Bo Dallas showed up in the Royal Rumble, and then he came back to NXT and he won the NXT title.
I miss Bo Dallas.
He's great. He's still great. I
miss it.
I know. Bo, leave. Anyway, I think we can still get the
10.
We can still get the 10 moment, and then he could just go back to NXT.
All right.
He doesn't have to get called up. The way they've designed it now is that NXT and the WWE can cross over, and there can be Bayley showed up at last year,
and then they were like, no, get used to her though.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we already
Seth
talked
Rollins
about.
showed up in NXT last night. He did.
I know, but that's not showing up.
I know. That was a good.
Neville showed up at the UK tournament to fight Tommy End.
Yeah, he's not in the UK. Right?
And if I might, I forgot about this. I need Tommy End to pull back just a little bit. You can't have a giant mohawk. You can't have a giant beard. You can't have tattoos all over your body. You can't be known as the fucking anti-hero. You can't have all of those things because then you're just creator wrestler number 3 in my goddamn WWE 2K16 game. That was stupid. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. Tommy End, no. That's bad. That's real bad.
You gotta be careful. He's a Satanist, Rick.
I know what Satanism is. It was my college. I did a college essay on.
Well,
Satanism.
there you go.
You know what Satanism is? It's the belief that humans are bigger than actual gods. It believes that we are first. Anyway, back to my original rant. Tommy End, you gotta be fucking kidding me with this guy. I watched Trent Seven. I'm like, hey, that guy looks pretty cool. I like his handlebar mustache. I like the fact that he's kind of a big, portly guy, and that's okay. I watched Tommy End.
It was you, Rick.
I watched Tommy End, and I see a guy who is every gimmick ever for the last 6 years.
He's everybody's E-Fed wrestler.
He really is.
Yeah.
And then he's got this crazy Muay Thai MMA background. I'm like, oh, that clicks that fucking box. And I'm like, oh, he's got these insane tattoos that don't have any fucking purpose. All right, that clicks that box.
He's super gothic.
He's super gothic. That clicks that box. Does he have eyeliner on? He clicks that box. Let's see what else we got here. It's like watching Corey Graves and Daniel Bryan
and CM Punk.
And I don't know, The Undertaker, and they all become one unit, and it's Tommy End.
Transporter malfunction.
Exactly. It's like they all got into a teleporter, and they came out the other side as one entity, and it's goddamn Jeff Goldblum. And it makes me so furious to see something like this. And then I see Neville come out, and he looks so cool. And he's got
I love Neville.
He's the angry Irishman. Oh, he's so pissed. I love him. Is he Scottish or Irish? I never get that
British.
He's
a Geordie.
He's a Geordie.
He's a Geordie.
What does that mean?
He's just British.
Okay, my mistake. Apologies. I don't know the
They called him the Jumpin' Geordie for a while in NXT. So.
All right, my mistake.
Yeah.
He's a hobbit. Anyway. Mm-hmm. But I love that. And that's how you take a character and you tweak it just a little bit.
I love heel Neville. I never thought I would give so much of a shit about heel Neville.
But this Tommy End guy, I don't know what the internet thinks about him. Because I look at him and I look at Kenny Omega and I think to myself, same fucking guy. Two of the exact same person. I don't know what the difference is between the two of them. I don't know why you guys love these people so fucking much. Maybe it's because I'm an 80s guy. I grew up watching wrestling in the 80s and the 90s, and I saw all these guys. I remember when Crow Sting was actually a thing, and then I look at all these other guys, and I'm like, this is the... And that brings me to my final thought. Do you think Kenny Omega is coming to the Rumble? No, you don't. No one does. Shut up about it.
He has outright said that he is not coming in unless he's working everybody, which is very possible. He could just be working everybody.
Sure.
He told Meltzer point blank that he's not.
Now,
then again, but I don't think he is. I do think eventually he will end up in the WWE within the next couple years.
Okay, but do the Young Bucks?
No, they're never coming in.
No,
they've pissed off too many people.
I agree.
Their whole gimmick is fuck you DX.
Right.
And that's not good. That doesn't work. You can't be actively burning a bridge. You have to. If we know anything,
I hear you.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you a question. Who in blue hell is Penta El
Oh,
Cerro
that's,
Miedo.
that's Pentagon Jr. I stuck in there. He left AAA. I was just
I didn't know who that
yeah.
was.
He left AAA, but AAA owns the name, so he turned it. His new name is Penta El Cerro Miedo. So I mean, I don't think he's actually, but I literally just was like, who could conceivably show up? Who's free?
All right.
Yeah, I stuck in there.
Fan, small s. Who do you want to see make an appearance in tonight's Rumble? If somebody text us real quick.
Or
and
tweet us later today. Yeah.
Whatever you want. We'll debate that. Well, interesting side note.
Yeah.
Tyler Bate
Tyler Bate.
is a young man. He is a British man.
I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up tonight too.
He could make an appearance. Somebody from the UK tournament could make an
Either
appearance.
Tyler Bate or maybe Tyler Bate and then Pete Dunne just beats the shit out of him.
I
on the way to the
wonder
ring.
though. Is his name Tyler Bate because he's a young British man and thus he would be a master?
He's a master Bate.
I was thinking that the entire time. What is this? Pete Dunne. Okay, so Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne. I would love to see Pete. I would love to see them.
Oh my god, I can't even read that from back here. Anyway,
if Tyler Bate comes out, he's got the belt. He's his little baby wave. Then Pete Dunne literally. I would love it if Pete Dunne came out and just elbowed him to death, and then just took his spot in the Royal Rumble. I think that would be a great moment.
This brings me to an interesting question. Will Curtis Axel finally get to be in the Royal Rumble?
I remember Axelmania. It went for a year all the way until the next Royal Rumble when he finally got eliminated.
I didn't know that. I thought that was
it was sort of like half and half. Like they sort of ran it until the Andre Battle Royal where he got eliminated from that.
Yeah.
But I think it also kept on going all the way into the next Royal Rumble.
Actually,
and he went in and immediately went out.
You mentioned the Andre Royal Rumble, and I forgot that there is a really true dark horse to win the Royal Rumble.
There's a lot of...
But it's...
Are you Tyler Baton under there?
A little bit. Because I'm going to mention one of my boys. Oh, P-Ron! Baron Corbin could legitimately win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of this year, is Baron Corbin could win. Braun Strowman. I never thought that I would give a shit about Braun Strowman. He's fantastic. He's fantastic for a big hoss.
All right.
He's fantastic for a big hoss.
He is the guy that John Cena needs to beat. Or insert your, face superstar
If
here.
Roman versus Strowman happens at Mania, and it's not for a title, I would like to see that. If it's for a title, they're going to get booed out of the goddamn building. We need to be careful. We're going to need to lock down our doors. I don't care. I really don't care about Cartwheel. We're going to need to lock down our doors because there's going to be a riot 20 minutes down the road.
John Morrison is not coming. Sorry.
No, John Morrison's not coming.
John Morrison has made a great name for himself.
He's a Lucha Underground.
As Yanni Mundo, and he would be stupid to leave that because they let him do all of the drugs in Lucha Underground. Yeah. And he needs all of those drugs to have the 8-point abs, which I have one.
He has like an 8-pack on each of his abs.
His abs have abs.
His abs have abs?
You get that from horse tranquilizer, I found. Well, no, wait. What was it that he actually was doing?
It was like...
It was a creatine for horses.
Yeah, it was like some sort of steroid for horses.
It was supposed to make his hair look better. Yeah, his hair look better.
Yeah.
That's true. That's actually true.
Yeah, I remember that. That was...
Okay. So...
Did we run down everybody on the list?
That's everybody on our list.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else. There's no,
Well, okay. You have one shot. Dun, 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 Eminem music.
Oh, okay.
You only get one shot. Oh, no, you gotta put your hood up for this. To make this prediction.
Let it go. Oh.
Jesse Long. Who wins the Royal Rumble?
Who do I want to win?
No.
Who is gonna win?
Yes.
Fuck it, Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
What is your reasoning?
Samoa Joe versus AJ at Mania.
Oh.
Or Samoa Joe versus Cena at Mania. Either way, for the title.
Okay. I'm going to go with my original pick. I'm going to say it's Finn Balor.
Finn Balor? Yeah.
I say Finn.
Finn would be... Like I said... But like that,
just hear me out. This is the reason. Finn. So Owens is going to retain via chicanery.
God, I hope so.
And that will lead.
God, if Roman walks away,
two things will happen. Just hear me out. If Owens wins, or even if Roman wins, That will lead to Finn coming out, winning the Rumble. He gets the shot at Mania. He gets back his Universal title, which he never
Finn
lost.
is the only logical person to go for the Universal title because he never lost it.
Right.
And it's in Orlando, for God's sakes.
Right. And I think on top of all of that, he deserves to take it off of Owens.
Yeah.
Who's been the only other champion.
Exactly.
And he's done it before.
Yeah.
And they know that Owens and Finn can have amazing matches together.
Yeah.
And maybe, Owens won't have Finn tear his fucking shoulder. So, yeah. Now, here's the problem with all of this.
Yeah. And if he goes after Roman, maybe Finn turns heel.
Joins the club.
Club comes out,
club.
Too Sweet everybody.
Yeah,
and
I could see that.
That would be so great. And Orlando, another wave of giant cum. If the show ends with Finn and Anderson and Gallows Too Sweeting everybody,
yeah,
that would be great.
And then the entire clique lives in Orlando. So what if Nash and no, I'm serious.
No, yeah,
Nash
and they had their big moment a couple
yeah.
years ago. They could stay home, but
Nash and Razor could be in the
that's
Hall
true.
could be out.
That's
for
true.
Orlando. Anyway,
and then
all
hopefully AJ could hopefully retain as well.
And they come out
And all
doing-
four of them.
Yeah, that's a lot of heels winning though. So I don't know. All right, I say Finn. You say Samoa Joe.
Maybe. I think I'm gonna.
I think it's funny that we're both prognosticating guys who aren't actually announced for the Rumble.
No, and
Now, realistically, that's who you think is going to win. Who do you think is the most likely winner?
most likely winner, Undertaker.
Yeah, Undertaker,
And that's
and he's
a
going to come
bummer.
out at 29.
That's a bummer.
It is.
I don't really want Undertaker.
I love Spooky McDead Man. I think he's great.
Yeah.
I've loved him since I was a child. I'll love him as an adult as I have. But I think he's going to come out at 27 or 28 or 29.
Yeah.
Because he ain't got
The
no
last
hip.
three are probably going to be. There's two. There's the terrible, horrible reality that we live in right now, and then there's the reality that we wish we were in. Where Bernie's the president, and in the wonderful reality, Brock, Taker, and Goldberg are all eliminated, and they're not in the final four. And then there's the other one where it's going to be Brock, Taker, and Goldberg. They're three of the final four,
Right.
And then Kofi is the last guy, or Xavier, which would be
or Big Show,
or James
Or
Ellsworth.
Big Show.
James Ellsworth is in the final four.
What if the final four is Big Show, Undertaker?
I shouldn't hang myself on a belt that's tributed to a dead guy.
Well, you shouldn't.
I
But,
shouldn't. That's really bad.
oh God, I have this horrid vision in my head that the final four is, and then they just bring in Batista again, and they're
31 is Batista. No, Batista's never coming
The final
back,
four is
but-
is somehow it's Roman and then the three old guys.
Yeah.
and the whole crowd just goes. Wait.
They're just like,
wait a minute.
They're
Wait a minute.
just, you just see them. They're almost like
People just start moving.
they just get them. Yeah,
That is frightening because
that's the Trump America reality that we live in.
that's not unbelievable that they would pull that kind of chicanery.
Yeah. No, I'm hopeful. Actually, someone that's another possibility that a lot of people have been thinking about is The Miz.
No. I'll explain. The Miz will not win the Rumble because The Miz needs to be in the IC title picture. He just needs to.
He needs to be in that world title.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He's fantastic.
I agree, but we have to. Listen,
Well, him just being fantastic isn't enough. But
who's the greatest IC champion of all time?
I don't know.
Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk Man. Okay.
Did he ever go up to the main event?
No.
You know why?
Because he was the Intercontinental Champion.
Right. Some belts require guys to never leave.
That's true.
And I think The Miz is the perfect Intercontinental Champion. He's the guy who is coming into his own. His work rate is getting astronomical. But I still say that AJ runs rings around him.
No, and I don't think we would ever have AJ versus The Miz at Mania.
Right. So I think The Miz has found his place.
Yeah.
He is certainly an upper mid-carder.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of a lower main event, if
Yeah.
you will. Second main event.
Maybe get a world title shot on a pay-per-view. Battleground. He gets.
But
a title
I
shot.
think he deserves that IC belt, and I think he's elevated that. Am I saying this? The Miz
The
is
Miz.
elevated,
Yeah,
elevated
think
the
about
IC
this.
title.
The Miz. I remember we've been doing this podcast for 10 years. 7 years ago or 8 years ago, we were doing this, and we were talking about, and you fucking hated The Miz. You wouldn't even entertain the notion that The Miz was in allowed to be in the same sentence as good.
Yeah.
And The Miz is one of the best heel. He's the best heel on SmackDown.
What he really is, and it's leaving a bad taste. He's the newest, most Ric Flairiest thing in the history of Ric Flair.
And that says a lot because a few years ago they specifically tried to make him the new Ric Flair.
I remember.
And that backfired and it sucked. But now he actually is, like, he's great. Him and Maurice are fantastic.
They're absolutely wonderful. But
do you think it's going to be like Miz and Dean forever, fight forever, with like Renee and Maurice slapping each other?
I think Dean will bounce up because Dean has the world title and he can do that, and he's been there. He's been to the mountaintop.
He has been the world champion,
and the Miz has too. But I don't think you'll ever see him wear that belt again. But I do think you will see him wearing the IC title ad infinitum.
Yeah.
And I have
think he's going to break Jericho's record.
Oh, yeah. There's that. Or I have no problem with him breaking Honky Tonk's record, which I know is like 3 years.
He'd have to start soon because he's not the Intercontinental Champion right now.
Oh, no, I understand. But I think The Miz as the IC title champion with a year-long run
that would be great.
Would elevate that title to the absolute stratosphere. But I also think that we have a little bit of a concern there, too. Because right now, the titles that people care about are the WWE World Champion, the IC title, and the US title. And nobody cares about the Universal title.
No, they don't, because the list is more important and it's more fun. But, I'm happier that Chris Jericho is the U.S. champion. And
but he's also doing nothing with the belt, too.
Exactly.
So
it's the two-man power trip, and they're doing nothing with it.
Right. It's an inverted two-man power trip. It's a two-man no power trip.
Yeah. It's a two-man Barry trip. It's...
Okay. All right. Yeah. We've discussed NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, Orlando, West Palm Beach, South Carolina. We discussed...
You just run down there, the wiki page of all the places that you...
We discussed the list of Jericho being more over than Jericho. We've discussed the Royal Rumble.
Some people think Jericho might win the Rumble.
Interesting.
And then Jericho and Owens for the Universal title at Mania.
Don't want to see that.
Which would literally put them probably on first.
Don't want to see that.
You don't want to see that?
No, I don't.
No.
I like Jericho a lot. I like Owens a lot.
You want the best friends to stay together forever?
No, I don't think they mesh well.
Really? You don't like them together?
I don't think they would wrestle very well together.
Oh, wrestle together?
Yeah.
No, so you want them to stay best friends forever? And
no, I don't want them fighting for the world title or the Universal title, whatever the hell you want to call it, because I don't think their styles mesh.
Yes. So you're saying they shouldn't break up because
they can break up and they can have a fight, but I don't think it should be for the Universal title.
Yeah. In that hell landscape where Trump is president and the final four are the big dudes,
right?
Owens and Jericho are the U.S. title match.
Right. Actually, I would be totally okay with them having a U.S. title fight because then they would just call it the Canadian Championship, and I would actually be totally okay. And then if Lance Storm showed up and gave the big thumbs up,
he's the special rep.
Because they did that with Trudeau, with the Mountie. And one of the old WCW pay-per-views towards the end where Lance had all the world...
Yeah, I loved all the Canadian champions Lance Storm. That was great.
Yeah, Canadian champion Lance Storm had the Mountie with him.
Did he have the Mountie?
Yeah, at one point to do... It was their special Queens of Rule, Doonesbury Rules match.
Oh, I know the Canadian Rules
And they were in Canada at the time. Yeah. And so every time they restarted the match, the fans were like, yay! Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I didn't watch because it was pay-per-view. I wasn't going to order the pay-per-view.
Well, listen, if you have time, go back.
It's on the network.
It's on the network.
$9.99.
This episode also not sponsored by the WWE Network.
Yeah, because 3 people are using one account. And it's mine. Oh, please don't take it off. They don't like that. I'm surprised they haven't shut it down yet.
Well, it's so close.
The IP addresses are so similar. Like when you're like Google Maps, the GPS doesn't really work, and you got that big blue circle. I think we're in the same blue circle.
It's like Altamont.
If I move to Oviedo, you're gonna like your
Spokane.
shit.
It's like what's going on in Spokane?
Yeah, it's a weird GPS pinging. If I move to Oviedo, you're shit out of luck, though.
All right. What is our lesson? What is the lesson for this week? And I will tell you because
tell me.
This is my segment. My arms hurt.
How's the jungle treating you, Ray?
Oh God, it's so much fun there.
That's good. Did you go to the open house yesterday?
I wanted to, but my dad randomly came into town yesterday.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was at the open house. I was actually thinking about competing in the open jiu-jitsu tournament for white belts. Even though, 3 of the white belts that are there should be blue belts because they're, oh my God. But I was going to get my ass whipped and that was fine. But then my dad randomly called me. He was like, hey, I'm in town. I'm like, holy shit. So I had to go hang out with my dad. The lesson for this week in fandom is modern day nostalgia. Now, we have had nostalgia running wild in the WWW for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
Since Hogan's first return.
Then is now is forever.
Right. So, this has been great, except for the fact that it's terrible. I am nostalgic for the days of the vaudevillains in the NXT. I'm nostalgic for the days of NXT being something I really, really, really wanted to watch every day of the week. Now it's something I enjoy watching on, the TV, and I can pause it and go and have a pizza and then come back and watch it again. I'm nostalgic for the days in which the titles meant something. I'm nostalgic for one belt. I'm nostalgic for one show. And I miss that. I miss caring about one guy.
Yeah.
And that's what this week's lesson is. When we have a Royal Rumble that is so jam-packed with guys who existed in the early 2000s, when you tell me that The Undertaker and Bill Goldberg and Brock Lesnar are all going to be in one ring at the exact same, and Big Show, and all these other guys are going to be in one ring at the exact same time, my 2004 version of Rick is over the goddamn moon. It's 2017.
Yeah.
That is literally 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer. 2002 might even be more accurate. Why am I supposed to care about something that I would have cared about literally 15 years ago?
That's a sixth of the Rumble going to part-timers.
Right.
Or six, whatever. Five of 30. Or whatever.
Yeah.
5 of 30. I really, like I said earlier, I could have done without the part-timers.
Yeah.
I would have loved to... not having the worry that it could go to Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. Not the big picture's not going to win. He did come back, even if he comes back looking like Captain Insano, which he did on Raw.
You look like Captain Caveman.
He looked like Captain Caveman. That's fucking Strowman. Okay, here's my lesson.
You listen to me, Brocker Taker.
Here.
I'm coming after your WWNW shit. Oh God, my head hurts.
So you heard about that. You heard about that.
You know what? No more promos after I bang my head on a wall. Oh my God, that was bad.
So you heard about that, yeah. 50-year-old guy bangs his head into the promo, blades himself hard way to get psyched up for a promo, and he stumbles through. It's been
Sting! What Flair did to you was unconscionable.
Steve's not here.
Austin! What McMahon did to you?
He's doing a podcast.
Magilla Gorilla? Jabberjaw? All right,
Josie and the Pussycats.
Let's wrap this shit up.
So this has been the Royal Rumble of just not good promos and just random sounds. I don't know if you heard about this one too. A couple weeks ago. Yeah. Rest in peace. It was just because the camera caught the... I think he's been making this noise for the past 20 years. They never caught it. So just,
If someone could just splice in the noise that Sideshow Bob makes when he steps on the rake. Rest in peace.
Can we get Kelsey Grammer to like do Undertaker's promos for him?
Well, listen, when Mark Hamill does Trumps. Okay, so thank you all so much for listening in. What episode was this?
This is season 2, episode 3.
Season 2, episode 3
Maybe.
of. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step 2, step 2, step 2, step 2, step. Anyway, thank you for listening and joining us live on Paramascopes, on Vine, on whatever.
Not Vine.
Whatever Twitter is calling it, because Twitter
It's Vine Camera now. It became Vine Camera and it updated all my apps. And so it went from green to black.
Yeah,
it's very ominous.
But thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. We don't even have weeks. For this episode of Wrestle Crush Whenever, for the amazing father of the century, Jesse Long, the real American dad, I am the Sussman, Rick Sussman. For our awesome new addition to the show, the Zero Fucks Given Cat, and for the team... okay. And for all Team Hammerfist champions out there everywhere, that includes all of you at home and across the world, we are Team Ham and Fish, and we are the best in the business. All right.